we decided to change the way that reservation works.
Oh no.
There's a new resource in PoE 2 called Spirit. You can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want. The gem will come pre-leveled to the level as we weapon swap. Our passive tree changes from one build to the other automatically.
What I will do now, though, is go right into the trailer, then the gameplay. PoE 2.
The gods caused all this, you know.
After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled.
The gods caused all this, you know.
After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled, searching for answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation. It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me.
Okay, yeah. Hello. I know about Huntress, that looks good. Merc, okay, Monk. Oh, there's Grex's build. What was the bad guy from Kung Fu Panda? Prisoner. Ignad Duck. Whatever the fuck that name is. Ew. Fuck that. Ooh. The big box of fuck that. Wow, they're actually gonna say what they're adding? That's a thumbnail. Oh. Sorry, what did that say? There's no fucking way. Ah, okay, no, well, yeah, maybe, probably, yeah.
This world will be reborn, no matter the cost.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't give a fuck about the plot. What does this tell me about the game? Fundamentally, it looks exactly the same. Except they've added a shop button. Just the animations, the new enemies, the new items. Basically, like, it's as if they didn't make a league for 2 years and just put everything out at once. God, this is going to be so good. Okay, now I get to listen to Jonathan play the game for half an hour in Act 3. Walk through 3. Maybe I can watch all 10 of these in order before it comes out, if they're doing 10.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2. We'd like to start off by showing some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here in the jungle depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the Vaal civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. The jungle is taken
Where's my quality?
over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it using one of our 6 new character classes, called the Monk. In PoE 1, we had 1 character class for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have. Being a spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it doesn't really sound like something that a Templar
I want
would
to
do.
pause, but I don't want to
We realised
pause.
that
There
since
was
we had
gold
new
on the
mechanics
ground.
for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design new character classes to explore the new themes.
New
In
mechanics?
PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress. And on
Oh,
Dex
I'm
Int,
gonna
you have
love
the Shadow
spears.
and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own
Mark's
three
playing.
ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in the way that only that class has access to. But they both start at the same location in the passive tree.
Huh.
The quest rewards you're offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class, but of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
Good, they should advertise that more. Holy shit.
Looks like we've come across the boss for this area. In PoE 2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics to learn.
I would love it if we go in a more Dark Souls direction with, like, one boss every area. That sounds great. Triple this time for, like, an efficient leveling build.
As you've seen from watching Mark fighting, the melee combat in PoE 2 has a very different feel than before. We've done a lot of things to add mobility to combat. Practically every melee skill in PoE 2 has some kind of movement built into it.
Monk looks
The
kind
Monk
of sick.
in particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
Ice melee skills. %8 chill. Nothing out of the ordinary here. This is probably what, like level 25? Does it say anywhere? Am I dumb? No? Okay, the subtitles will carry me. This will be fine. I think.
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have
They
noticed
need a
there's blue
default
markers
item
over
filter.
enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm. Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the monk, since many of his skills interact with power
Don't
charge.
hide loot, damn it.
One of the great things about the skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill at the right point when you need it. We've done a lot of work
Wow.
in PoE 2 to make using skills like this feel satisfying. If you're accidentally targeting
Thank
slightly
fuck.
off the monster, the skill will automatically lock on to the cullable target, and will even do a
Not to
small
be
amount
a
of pathfinding around
Diablo
obstacles.
hate
You
train
really want to make
enjoyer,
sure
but
when you've got an opportunity to use the skill, nothing is going to get in
you
your
know,
way.
billion-dollar company could learn a thing or two from these guys.
Once you have some power charges, you need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But do it with some power charges and it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of extra projectiles.
Okay.
One thing you'll notice here is that like almost every
Combo
melee skill in PoE 2,
lightning strike.
Falling Thunder has a bit of extra movement built in just in case you need it. Using the skill within range and you'll do a flip in place. But use it at a larger range and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time
Oh
penalty.
my god. Actually making it feel good. Fucking show me Cyclone. Although that's kind of Cyclone
also get a
anyway.
short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start
What?
the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction. In order to get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower
That's
life
pretty
monsters
big
with
for
cullable range.
going fast.
You've got a few options. If you want to charge right in, Whirling Assault.
That
is a
makes
good
me
option.
feel so
much
good
damage
about
with
the
a hit.
melee.
It
Oh
covers
my
a lot
god.
of ground. Notice how you can turn as you do it? Generally speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE 2. If you make a turn
They're
with
really
right arm,
hammering
you
this
get
home.
all
This
the
is
hits in on the
great.
monsters, getting them into range of your cull. Follow up with a Killing Palm, then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder.
Okay. I'd like to see something other than Monk now.
We've now entered the Vaal Mechanarium. This is the place where the Vaal built the various constructs they relied on
It's
to
not.
power their civilization.
Hi, Alva.
Now this
Oh.
is a find. A
Oh.
Baal ruin that hasn't been looted? I wonder why nobody's been in here before.
One useful
Press
feature that we've
markers.
added is the ability to call in NPCs to where you are, to give you more information, help you with quest objectives, and so that you don't have to always go back to town. In this case, we'll call in Alva to find
Oh.
out what to do.
This mechanism,
Oh.
if powered with
Wait.
a small soul core, it could could.
Wait, then why would we ever go back to
There should
town?
definitely be soul cores somewhere around here.
Just
They
to
had to power these
sell
constructs
shit?
somehow.
Maybe.
As Alpha said, we need to find a soul core to open this door. Let's explore. If you want to shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a good option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps the enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back, so it's a great option for keeping smaller but high damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back, so trying to push back some giants isn't
I'm
gonna be
seeing
easy.
Avatar The Last Airbender builds just
And there's the soul core.
popping up out
Let's
of
get back to
nowhere.
the door.
Show me Cyclone, damn it. I had 6. Okay, that was pretty good.
Consider me.
I mean, it feels like the monk does in D3,
Bring me in if you find anything else.
but looks like it might
If
be
you need
more
to defeat
satisfying.
tougher enemies, it might be time to break out some of the ice skills in the monk's arsenal.
Ooh, okay.
Glacial Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player. It's pretty ineffective against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave.
Where's
and
the
so
butt?
a lot of monsters will just walk right by it. But if you can find a way to make a monster stop at just the right place, it can be very effective. In order to do that, you probably want to freeze monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage on the first 2 hits.
Ice
It'll attack
Punch.
3 times in sequence, and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with that freeze, then roll back
Okay.
and finish the job with a Glacial
Combo
Cascade.
melee doesn't sound like something I want to
Now,
do.
remember how Glacial Cascade had that
Combo
extra damage
bows,
spike at the
maybe?
end? If you've hit a
Combo
frozen enemy
spear,
with that spike, it
probably?
shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage.
Probably not gonna ever play monk.
Oh yeah, I just casually mentioned rolling back before. Did I
Sorry?
forget to mention that in PoE 2 we added a dodge roll to every character? Just press spacebar any time to roll. There's no cooldown, no limitations. It
Wait,
even
what?
has a bit of built-in pathfinding so you don't get stuck on things.
What?
When you dodge roll, you're not invulnerable. If something hits you, you're gonna feel it, but most things will not hit you. That's because while rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll have to roll out of the way of a slam that has
What?
AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss.
That
Now, another really
changes
important
boss
function of
fights
dodge roll is that it lets you
completely.
cancel out of almost any
That's...
skill at any
Oh,
time.
okay.
This makes it so you don't
I'm
feel
gonna
like
have to
you're getting
listen
stuck
to
in a long
fucking
animation
Tai
or
Tai
something
talk about that one.
It really changes how skills with longer attack and cast times play, and it makes dodge roll feel like a very reliable way to avoid attacks.
Wow,
That's one
okay.
way to get out of the way of damage.
That's
The monk
huge.
specializes in mobility, so it makes sense that he would have
We need a
fewer
cooldown indicator somewhere.
Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat.
That doesn't
built right in.
exist. Okay.
You move backwards and throw out a
Huh.
cold attack with a significant
If that can be
freeze.
sped up,
The great
that's...
thing about this is it puts
crazy.
you at a good distance to follow up with Glacial
But it
Cascade
looked
and
really
full
good by
pile of
default.
damage. Hey look, another soul core.
Damn, okay. This is saying a lot without saying it.
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is another palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on your target.
It's even palm
Kill
strikes
or
straight
deal
from
enough damage to
D3.
the
This is
target and the bomb
great.
will explode, doing some damage and a significant freeze.
This really
It's
is
a great
just
option against bosses,
Diablo 2,
but a
but
wave of ice
better.
might not be enough to get that freeze off. But you really want to get that Glacial Cascade damage.
This is gonna bring in so many more new people. Is that even English? Did I say that right? So many more new? No, I think that's right.
The final skill we're going to show you today is Flicker Strike. It's a
Ooh,
monk skill,
that was
but
some...
another skill that consumes power charge.
That was some,
If you've played PoE 1, you know what to expect.
there's some alpha text above an enemy there.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights, and it looks pretty impressive too.
Sorry, did they say Val Flicker? I missed that. I don't want to go back. Can't pause.
Another door. I wonder what could be in there.
Is that a waypoint? Oh yeah, where's the minimap? Oh, maybe they don't want to show that. Sick.
order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools in the monk's arsenal, especially the combo of Freeze and Glacial Cascade. If you're a PoE 1 player, you might think that you can't really rely on Freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it, but in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, Freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes the target, or it doesn't. What this basically
We're getting
means is that
entropy
in
for
PoE 1,
Freeze?
we're forced to add freeze immunity to many bosses, because Freeze just trivialized them. Because of that, freezing was something you only really used while pack clearing, and not something you could rely on as a core part of your build for boss fight. In PoE 2 though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic you might be using.
We're stealing all the good bits of Diablo 4 and doing it better. Oh, hell yeah.
When you freeze an enemy,
Wait, what did that just say? Did that just throw shade?
Now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic you might be using. It's a little bit like poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games.
Okay.
When you freeze an enemy, it increases the amount of freeze you need to do another freeze, but the increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means it will not get out of control in party play or interact badly with other CC mechanics, allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all bosses.
That depends on the freeze duration then, but if that's fair, and that actually works, that's pretty good then. Huh. That means like backstab attacks are gonna be viable. If like CC on bosses is available to basically everybody. That's interesting. This is gonna be so good. Oh damn. I just know Necro is gonna be overpowered. There's no controlling it. Oh, like, are they gonna talk about gems in this video? I hope they do. This is a bit slow, but this is like demo gameplay. Probably triple this speed for like a real scenario, I think. Do we have coal? Does the power charge thing work on bosses? Yes. Unless that was just a big hit.
Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item, the Flame Core. It's a
Consumable?
permanent +10 to spirit.
Quest items are...
In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration. It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them.
Oh my god.
One of the things you might find for killing a boss is a permanent stat bonus to your character.
They really are spoiling us. I've just been playing Fallout 4 where you're rewarded for exploration. This is so good. Fuck. Just copy Lost Ark and Diablo 4. Take all the best bits. Give them to us. Ooh. Panic Flask. This is a bit rough. And if this is a melee start, which is notoriously slow and rough, everything else is fine. Fucking hate that mod. This looks pretty good. The sounds could be a bit crunchier. They sound right. I want to see Monk do this with like a two-handed sword or something. Unless that's not possible. Can he do unarmed by default? That would be really cool to see on a Monk. You know what? That's probably an Ascendancy. Yeah, that's totally an Ascendancy.
In order to help us with this next area, we're going to call in a Sorceress. Mark's
What?
friend, Octavian, is
Oh.
going to send a friend invite, which we're
Wait,
going to
what?
accept. And then they can play together.
Put him in voice chat, please.
The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character.
Ooh, we get to see Sork.
While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, The Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction.
Oh,
Let's have a look at how she
goodbye,
works.
Elementalist. Okay.
All the vaunted technology of the Vaal, and look where it got
We got Fireball,
dead and buried.
Ice Nova,
This is the largest soul core I've ever
and a
seen.
bunch of others. But I'm
With
guessing
this,
that's
we can
Fireball.
power the canal systems.
This will be good.
It isn't charged. There is still latent energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators. You might need to find some more soul cores to spin them up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe the golems have been maintaining it. In any case, it should still function. We'll have to remove that large core from the wall.
Dwemer Ruins from Skyrim, anyone?
We have some skills here that you'll probably recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different to play now.
Feel a bit cold
Spark
out
is
right now.
great in these tight passages since it bounces
Ooh,
around.
new Spark.
Added a Pierce support gem to really allow it to hit an entire room of targets. For a more single target focused skill, Arc is a good choice. It does more damage to the first target you hit.
Okay, that's... Oh, that's cool. What's jumping?
Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be good to use Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with chill. Just be careful.
That's
Getting
nice.
up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character.
Spark looks
If you
good,
want to help with the
but also
sorceress,
looks a bit seizure-y.
you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as
God,
you stand still.
the entire
You can
floor
see
is
the
going to be
ice
filled with those
crystals
little
forming around the
fuckers.
character.
Wonder how my spider's going to look.
They'll drop off if you walk.
Might just look the
Monsters hit
same.
you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze, so it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to start a step isn't
Oh.
the best strategy. Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1 basically every character was playing with no mana pool, so we decided to change the way that reservation works.
Oh no.
There's a new resource in PoE 2 called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, or even Minions. Everyone
Okay,
starts with 100
minions.
Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more than one effect, you're going to need some more Spirit. Spirit is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot,
My
the
God.
easiest way to get it is by holding a scepter.
Interesting. Aura Reservation is
Now, if you
now a
want to increase the
stat.
cold damage you're dealing, you can use a Frost Bomb.
Fuck.
Places a bomb on the ground that reduces the enemy's cold resistance while it's ticking down. It's a great
I
opportunity.
mean, it
to
gives
use some
Necro
cold
something to
skills
do.
before it explodes. And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with the slower cold resistance is Comet. There's a new skill in
Comet?
PoE 2, and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help get you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit a fast-moving opponent, but it's great on tougher enemies that
That's-
stand still.
that's
Or even a
not
larger
that
pack,
slow,
further
that's
away,
like-
you can predict where they're going to move.
1.5 seconds?
Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency...
Okay, that's about 2
you're free
seconds.
to cast
That's
Fireball.
not that bad.
Where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2.
Okay.
Now, in
There's a
PoE 1,
lot
caster weapons
changing.
had a default melee attack that nobody used.
Correct.
Because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn in them that were useless to a caster.
Correct.
In PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up. So now each staff comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell. Just put it on and spam to your heart's content.
That's cool.
Now this particular staff is the base type
That's
that you can
really
find on
cool.
the starting beach, and it's quite likely that you're going to outgrow it. So that's why we have a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It's got a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash.
So
Using
not
it
the
slams
support
your
gem?
staff on the ground, and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell. Now, of course, you're probably going to want to use that with something powerful, and Comet is a great option.
Ooh.
You'll notice that Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns. Because
Okay,
we really
good,
hate the feeling that
good.
combat is just waiting to be able to use your next skill.
Thanks for
It does make
reassuring
sense
us.
for Unleash, since it's free to cast, and it's something we want you to be using situationally anyway.
Okay, so does that mean no more Unleashed
Now,
support
if you're
gem?
facing something tough, you might want to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power in which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains.
Or you can
Power
pay
goes to
for
all
it.
of your spells. Lightning projectiles fork, beams chain further, and you'll also do a lot more damage.
Okay, Sigil of Power. Cool. Yeah. Arc looks quite nice. What was that? Oh, that was the monk, right. I forgot Octavian was there. Sorry, Mark was there. The gold will make a lot of people happy. Like, Governor will be happy about that. I remember him saying that specifically.
So with all of these skills, here's a great combo to try. First, cast Frostbomb to reduce the target's cold resistance.
Yep.
Then use Mana Tempest to increase your damage.
Yep.
Follow it with Unleash, and then triple cast the Comet to do a truly insane amount of damage.
That's a long time for Frostbomb and Comet. But I get the point. No cooldown on Comet. Interesting.
This rare monster dropped an Uncut gem.
Uncut?
This is a
Oh
good
god.
opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE 2.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm
Instead
listening.
of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want. The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it, so it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2. This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are
yeah,
skills that
feed
can
me,
have other
I'm
skills
listening.
socketed into them, changing how they work. In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock.
That's
Now,
big.
Put this thing in the skill screen and choose a spell to trigger with it.
Oh my
I think
god.
that might be fun. Because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spirit.
Ooh, Spirit's gonna be
In PoE 2,
fucking
Trigger
important.
gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, then we'll trigger it really often. If it's got a long cast time, like this Comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger. You can see up the top left that there's a counter that says how far it is until your next trigger.
That's
There you go.
nice.
Using Cast on Shock, we'll automatically cast Comet whenever we're using our lightning skills.
That's insane. I'm gonna love the new skill gems. You can pick the gem. That's
So we've found
fucked.
the generator.
Oh,
Time to power it up.
that's so good. I hope they make some of them drop only though, to make them rare. Oh, that looks fucking amazing. Isn't that a
Power
hideout
is restored to
decoration?
the Mechanarium. All the constructs are coming back to life. We'll need to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core. One thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is that this character has both ice and lightning spells. That's pretty inefficient, isn't it? It's a big no-no for most builds, because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other element. And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element.
Okay.
Well, in PoE 2, we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems.
Another
It
one.
starts with weapon swap. Now in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended use case. We imagined that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is because it's really awkward to do. In PoE 2, we wanted to solve that.
How are we
The
fixing
staff
that?
Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells. We would also like to be able to make sure that the build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back.
Ooh.
Now we're going to open up the skills screen. If Octavian opens up the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill. First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then, we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
What? Does it auto switch?
Now, when we use Spark, the character will automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back, and then use the skill. When Octavian uses
no.
Ice Nova, his character automatically switches over to
Oh,
his Ice
God.
Staff before using it.
Oh.
Figure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're
I
using.
can't tell if that's gonna be
But
really
you still have
good
the
or
problem with
way
passives.
too much power
Wouldn't it
creep.
be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2, you can. We're on the passive skills
There's a
screen
glimpse
here.
at the
You
tree.
can see that we're close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see where we have some weapon set specific points to allocate.
What?
If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives. And
What?
then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives. Now check this out.
Wait,
As we weapon
what?
swap, our passive tree changes from one build to the other automatically. Whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly.
Oh no. Oh no, that's okay. No, that's too
Now, you
much.
can't do this with
That's
every
too many
passive on your
things.
tree.
It's too
Only
many
points
things to
granted from
do.
skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you can't change from a mace-slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button, but it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds. There's a
Oh,
huge number
wow.
of places where the system can shine. You could augment your Dagger Shadow build with traps, or have a great curse setup on your Witch in one spec, and then move to your Chaos Debuff spells with the other.
Fucking build guides just got twice as long. Oh my god.
Another fun meta gem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gem I talked about before.
The Bane
but
gem.
This one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters.
I shouldn't
I
know
think we
that.
might like to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up until the point where you're able to cast the skill you socketed instantly.
Oh, I like that one.
Lose some energy shield, and then at just the right time invoke Ice Nova to cast all
Oh,
the
it
stacked
was
up versions
it
of
was
one
the Bane
card.
gem. Look.
If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts, so it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
Seems alright. God, I want to see Winter Orb. I want to see the Ascendancies, actually.
And here we are, back at the charged Soul Core. All we have to do now is take it. How hard could that be?
Well, he's got the ultimatum hat, so
dear.
this will be fun.
Now we just have to remove it from that construct. I'll leave that to you.
Oh my god. I mean, everything looks amazing. That's the important part. Don't waste time with cinematics, just make this shit look good. Lots of good mechanics. Lots of dodging involved. Well, we definitely need more UI things. We need more ways to tell what's on cooldown. I don't know how I feel about the boss bar at the top. Honestly, I kind of expected it the bottom middle, like fucking Elden Ring or something. Top makes more sense, but meh, I don't know. Honestly, do it like Terraria. Put it in the bottom corner by itself. Wait, that's not base Terraria. That's Calamity. Oh, nearly died.
So that's Path of Exile 2. Your next
Okay,
question's likely to
okay.
be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything. The closed beta will start on June 7th, 2024. Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming,
Okay.
and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're not quite there yet. We are determined not to rush this and make sure that we get it right.
Good shit.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, beta is a year away, which means the game is a year and a half away. Good shit.